to reconnect. What the fuck? Oh. Oops. Oh my gosh. We'll turn it down. Good evening and welcome to Journeys with Judy. My apologies if you caught the very beginning of the show.
Morgan did.
Oh, sorry, Morgan. So, tonight, our special guest is running a little late. She got caught in traffic, but to her defense, I called her last minute because the build up to the retreat, it totally slipped my mind that I needed to book somebody for the show today. So she was a last minute addition. I'm very grateful to her for being willing to come save me. This person I've known pretty much my whole life. We have spent countless hours together. We have shared family, we have shared friends, we have shared clothes. When her heart breaks, my heart breaks. When she celebrates, I celebrate. And I think her transition from where she was and who she was to where she is now has been quite a journey. So she should be here any second now. We're hoping she gets here soon. I'm excited for you all to meet her. Many of my family and friends that have known me my whole life, if you think you know her and you know her well, stay tuned, because I don't think she's the same person last week that she is today. So I think this is going to be a fun interview. We'll see where it takes us. Hold on. I think I hear her. She's here. Hi guys, it's me. Jen, come on in here. Tonight, Jen is going to interview me. I had the honor and privilege of working at Bon Secours Retreat this weekend with Katie Anna Clark and her team. And we have a lot of new viewers on the page. A couple months ago when I started doing this show, I was interviewed by Abby Gateman when we were on Resilient Readers. So many of our new viewers don't know anything about me. I'm just the girl that sits in the chair and asks a bunch of questions. So I really didn't have anybody booked for today, and I thought that I would take this opportunity to introduce myself to the new folks. So I asked Jen if she would come in and do the interview, and it has totally reminded me how nervous I got when the show was just about me. So thank God to all you people that I have lined up to interview, because this is not a seat I'm going to be in again. Hi, Jen.
Hi. Well, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
All right, let's start with our usual questions. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. I was born I believe I was born in St. Agnes Hospital. I'm not real sure. Could have been Sinai. But I grew up in a little town called Milford Mill. I always say it was sandwiched between Randallstown and Woodlawn. We were about 10, 20 minutes away from the Baltimore City line.
Okay. All right. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 3 wonderful, glorious siblings. I have an older brother, an older sister, and a younger sister. And we're all about 4 years apart. My dad used to joke and say my mother was only fertile every 4 years. And during the spring, because we're all December, January, February babies.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a lot of holiday babies.
It is, and I wasn't real bright growing up. I always thought I was the oldest because my birthday was December, And it started everybody
So it
else's
was
birthday.
The first birthday.
Of course,
so
my birthday was
obviously.
the first, so, you know, just makes sense.
How would you describe your childhood?
My childhood. On the surface, I had a really good friend that I met in 3rd grade, and she used to describe us as the Cleavers. It was pretty normal. We were a happy bunch. We joked a lot. There was a lot of laughter in our house. We had a pool, so all the neighborhood kids came to our pool and hung out there. You know, it was a different time. There were a lot of stay-at-home moms in our neighborhood, so we could leave the house at 10 o'clock in the morning and not come home till dinner. And Mom and Dad had eyes all over the neighborhood. Other parents watched out for us, other stay-at-home moms watched out for us, just like my mom watched out for their kids. And we knew that if we got in trouble at any one of those houses, they had the right to whoop up on us too. So it was good. It was very good. We were active and free, and we felt safe. And, you know, so surface, it was good. It was good.
Were you close with your brother and your sisters growing up?
My brother, I was the little brother he never had. So I would always hang out with him, and he'd let me play football with him and his friends. And, you know, granted, he's about 8 years older than me, so he always made sure nobody hurt me. Meanwhile, I thought I was the biggest badass in town because I was whooping up on some boys playing football. Little did I know. But I would also, he loved motorcycles. So I would help him work on his motorcycle, work on cars, clean his tools, and in payment he would take me for rides. So we were very close. My older sister, she and I shared a room. So as soon as I was able to be put in a bedroom, poor Karen lost her privacy and independence. So, you know, we fought. Sometimes it turned into fistfights. And everybody assumed that I was the one kicking ass. It was her. She is freakishly strong. Good Lord. Anybody who knows her knows that. But once we got older, I'd say my early teens, we started hanging out together. She shared her friends with me, and she really watched out for me. And oddly enough, when I went away to college, she went away to college with me to Salisbury, and we shared a room there as well. Not for long, but we shared a room there as well. So, you know, she... not willingly, but when my mom died, she really stepped into that role as our mom-like figure. And it was a lot of responsibility we put on her. We didn't know. But she took it, she accepted it graciously, and she really showed us the way for a very long time. My little sister, good Lord, my little sister, when my mom went back to work, I was the one home getting her off the bus and helping her with homework and doing all that. So we went through a rough patch for a little bit because I believe I might have been a little bitter about that. But she and I were and still are extremely close. I can talk to her about anything. So I love my siblings. I have the best.
I was going to say, you're still pretty close. I mean...
Yeah. Oh, we're very close. All of us are very close.
What would you say is your fondest childhood memory?
That's a tough one. You know, holidays at my grandparents', especially my grandma and grandfather Allred. They had this itty-bitty house, and I swear they'd pack 75, 80 people, and it would flow through there, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So just family, you know, the Forder side of the family, and just getting together because no matter where we were, we always laughed. And we kind of have a sick sense of humor, so really no matter what was going on, there was some type of laughter somewhere. We could always find the joy in any situation. So just the togetherness and the love of family. I really enjoyed that.
And on the opposite end of that, what was a challenge for you as a child?
When I was a child, let's see. You know what? I thought my life was really groovy until 3rd grade. I went to the doctor for a physical, and he told my mom I was too fat and had to be put on a diet. You know, I was an active kid. I climbed trees, I rode bikes, skateboards. I was out all the time. And he said all this in front of me. And my mom was a big lady, and I know that she just didn't want me to suffer the same pains that she did. But, you know, they got me a special book to record all my food and my calories in, and that's when I realized I was different. And it wasn't different in a good way. And I believe from that point forward, I'd walk into any room and just scan it to see if I was the biggest one in it. And I wasn't able to stop doing that until a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So that was pretty tough for me.
That's a pretty big imprint
Yeah.
for a kid.
Yeah, but you know, I was still a happy kid. Whatever. You know, I got picked on. You know, I was the fat, chubby kid, and then being aware of that wasn't real nice. So I decided to be the fat, funny kid. If I could make them laugh, at least they'd let me hang around. So I kind of transitioned into the funny fat kid.
And how about as a teenager?
A teenager. Well, teenager, I was still suffering. You know, all teenagers, especially girls, suffer from body image issues. So I was playing sports and doing my thing, but still always felt like I was the biggest one in the room, and it was a big hang up for me. And as I mentioned earlier, I hung out with my sister's friends, and not that my sister drank, but I started drinking at a very young age, and I think it was just another way for me to try to fit in, because I hope Maddie never watches this, or at least not till she's older, but I used to chug Coke and Diet Coke just to get used to the carbonation in my throat so I could chug beer. And, you know, that's just another way for people to be like, oh my God, she could drink so much. And I did. I would drink some pretty big guys under the table. Was it a good thing? No. But it was just a way of me coping with being different, me feeling like I was so different.
And what's a young age to start drinking the soda, chugging the soda?
The soda?
Yeah.
Probably about 12, 13.
And then shortly after that, at 21, when the beer
Yes.
when the beer entered the
When it was
picture.
legal, yes.
Right.
That's when I started doing beer bongs and keg stands.
Mm. Alrighty. And challenges as a young adult?
Young adult. It was not until college that I realized that I was a lesbian. And it wasn't something back then that people were comfortable sharing, so I didn't. So another part of my life became very quiet and very secretive. I never felt judged by my family. I never felt that they would not love me. But I guess in my mind, I never wanted to put them in a position where they had to choose.
So you didn't have a conversation with them?
I did not have a conversation with them until I was 26 years old after my mother died.
But you had relationships before that?
I did. I'm just now getting out of a 26-year relationship that I was in, and she was very much a part of my life at that point when my mother died. We had already been together for 5 years, 5 or 6 years, 5 years I think. So she actually lived in our house with us. You know, everybody who knows me knows Tammy. And Tammy lived with us for a long time. She loved my family. We moved out together. By that time we had lived in 2 different places. And when I moved back home to help take care of Mom, she moved back home with me. So it wasn't something that I didn't think people knew. It just wasn't talked about. That's all, you know. And like I said, I never felt I would be judged by any of my family or friends. I just never wanted to put them in a position where they had to choose,
right,
one way or the other. So that was difficult. And of course, my mom being sick. That was hard.
Yeah,
because she was sick for a long time.
That's a lot going on. How long was she sick?
I want to say 8 years, but I don't know. If any of the families watching, they can correct me. 6 to 8. I feel like it was 6 to 8 years. She got sick when I was still in college. So it was a while.
And what was she sick with?
She had lupus. First she had cancer. She beat the cancer, and then she had lupus, and that's what she suffered with. I don't really know that. I still don't believe it was the lupus that killed her. I think it was all the steroids they put her on, because they would just treat her with massive amounts of steroids, and it destroyed her body.
Yeah, it wreaks havoc.
Yeah.
And how about sticking with challenges? What is challenging for you now?
Right now, I'd say the biggest challenge is just moving forward into a life that I didn't expect to have. How about that? I didn't expect to be leaving a 26-year relationship. I didn't expect to be separating our family and have Maddie live with her parents separately. And I never thought these kind of things would happen. But I'm moving forward and learning to love myself. And it was through loving myself that I was able to take the steps that I needed to take to be happy. Because I learned early on in this journey, I learned that it wasn't so much what my mother said to me. It was the example that she set with living her life. And my mom was a wonderful lady, beautiful lady, and she never believed she was beautiful. She never believed she was worthy of anything. And I found myself in that exact same position. And I don't want Maddie to go through that. So in order for Maddie not to, it was very important that I break some patterns. And so I had to do something that I never thought I would do. And just, it's not so much picking up the pieces, but it's figuring out what's next and where to go and how to continue moving forward.
Yeah, a new normal.
A new normal.
Any kind of a huge shift like that. I always call a new normal. What your new every day is.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's enough challenges.
Yes, no more challenges.
No more challenges. What jobs have you had up until this point in your life?
When I was younger, I would babysit and cut grass. And then when it was legal for me to get a job, my sister, older sister, ran a day camp called Church Lane Day Camp. And I became a camp counselor with her and did that for years over the summer. And it was great. We got to work with kids all day. I got to be out in the sun. And I became the fishing instructor. I didn't know a damn thing about fishing, but I knew the kids had to be quiet, so that was a freaking blast. Shh, you're gonna scare the fish. You have to be quiet. So my mornings were so peaceful, sitting out on the little island with all the little children being quiet. Though when they did actually catch a fish, I was not very happy about having to take it off the hook and toss it back in. One kid even caught a freaking turtle. What the hell do I do with a turtle? Thank God there was a guy there helping out that day, and he helped release the turtle. But yeah, so I was a camp counselor for years. And then when I went away to college, before I got this job, I spent 2 months over a winter break, my freshman year of college, working for Cleany Boppers, a cleaning service. It was horrendous. Horrendous. Never ever do that again. Never. My father's
I had a one-day job once.
A one day?
One day.
What did you do one day?
I worked in a warehouse, I guess, taking Dove dish soap bottles from a conveyor belt and putting them in cardboard boxes.
Oh.
I had cardboard burns all over my arms. If I'd had a car, I didn't have a car. My mother had taken me to the job. If I'd had a car, I would have left at lunchtime. It was awful. There were 2 other girls that started at the same time. We were like, we're out of here.
I forgot in high school I also worked at Rite Aid for a little bit. A little stint at Rite Aid. So yeah, I worked at Cleany Boppers for 2 months and looked at my father and said, never again. I'm not doing that. He said, well, you have to find yourself a job. You got to have a job. So I go back down to school at Salisbury. We're walking through the mall. Lady Foot Locker. I was like, dude, they get to wear sneakers and a striped shirt and khakis. I can do that.
I'm in.
So I got hired that summer at Security Mall, Lady Foot Locker. And then every year when I would go back to school, they'd just transfer me back and forth. So all through college, I worked at Lady Foot Locker. And even when I got out, when I started, then for 24 years, I was a physical education teacher. Taught at middle school, high school, and elementary school. Middle school, I was a coach. High school, I was a coach. And spent 13 years doing that. Absolutely loved it. When I got pregnant with my daughter is when I decided it was time for me to start raising my own child and stop raising everybody else's. So I went part-time and worked at an elementary school, a couple different elementary schools. So yeah, I wanted to be a teacher since I was about in 6th or 7th grade. It was my passion, and I knew through sports I could reach kids and teach them about being better people through sports, because that's what had happened to me. I had the privilege of being coached by Diane George, and I don't know if she'd ever watch any of this, but she was definitely a mentor and role model for me.
What sports did you play?
I played field hockey, basketball. I like to tell Maddie, who's very good at basketball, that I was on special teams. She's like, Mom, you don't have special teams in basketball. I said, yeah, you do. When you have an arm and accuracy where you can throw the basketball from one end of the court all the way to the other, when there are seconds left on the clock and team needs to score, let's call Judy in. That's what I did. So special teams for basketball, I hurled the ball with great accuracy. And then I played softball. I played softball forever, but our high school team was really, really bad. And so bad, my grandfather, who was a minor league baseball player and loved the fact that I played softball, came to one game and couldn't come to any more. He told my mother he just couldn't do it.
It was too painful.
He said there's no way Judy can play every single position on the field, and that's what she needs to do in order for them to be successful.
That is a lot to ask.
Yes. So once my older sister graduated, then I moved to lacrosse, because she wouldn't let me play when she played, and it was really mean. I wanted to play with her, but she was afraid that,
She was probably afraid you would hit her with a stick.
No, she was afraid that I was going to be better than her. And she played offense, I played defense. We would have been the perfect connection.
Yeah.
I still argue with her about that. But I love her. I love you, Karen. Meanie. So, yeah.
Okay. How did you begin your spiritual journey?
My spiritual journey began very unexpected. It wasn't like I was like, oh my, I need help. What can I do? A good friend of mine had just recently purchased a salon, and I was painting everything for her. I went to paint the kitchen one day, and she looked at me and said, my best friend's going to come in and help you. I said, okay, great. Her best friend comes in, we're painting and we're chatting, and she starts talking about Reiki. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. And she starts to explain to me, and the more she talks, the more I ask questions, and the more I hear about the benefits of it, I immediately thought of my little sister, because she had suffered adrenal gland failure, and she was going through what we now know, chronic fatigue, and a list of other things, autoimmune things. And doctors didn't have any answers, but she was in a lot of pain. And I thought, well, if it's good for pain relief, this would be a great alternative for her, because she was having bad reactions to medications they were putting her on. But knowing my sister the way I know her, I knew that I couldn't get her to get on the table if I didn't experience it and know what it was first. So I went for my first appointment. I believe it was December 5th or 6th, 2012. I don't know what happened there, but when I left the room, I knew that I needed more. And the best way I can sum it up is I had hope. I had hope for a brighter tomorrow. I didn't realize how dark and depressed I was until I left that room. So I did something that I don't normally do, but I made weekly appointments and dedicated myself in that time to me, which I struggled with in the beginning because I felt very selfish doing that. Mm-hmm. It costs money, it's time, and but the more I went, the better and lighter I felt. And, not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And I had lost my mother when I was 26, and didn't really allow myself to grieve properly through that. My dad quickly remarried and kind of removed himself from our lives for a while, and I didn't know how to handle that either. I felt very abandoned. So, I took to drinking a lot, and, the next thing you know, we're 5-6 years later, and I decide that I want to get pregnant, so at least I cleaned myself up that way. But I never really dealt with the grief. And in 2012, I had a new house. I had a beautiful baby that I never thought I'd be able to have. I was a mom. What a gift. And I had a dedicated, loving partner and I just wasn't happy. I was angry all the time, and I didn't get it. So when I went for my first energy session with Heidi, it was like it opened a door, and then it just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. Many of you know Katie Anna Clark. She was Heidi's teacher, so I like to joke and call myself second generation Katie Anna. But you know, at that time she was talking a lot about a soul-guided life, and I didn't exactly know what that was, but I wanted to find out. And the more I went, the more I wanted to learn, and the better I felt for myself, the more I knew that it was something that I had to do for others. So I took as many classes as I could. I convinced Heidi to start teaching. Every workshop, every class, everything she did, I was a part of. Then I finally got up enough confidence to go to a Katie Anna circle. And I'm not gonna lie, Katie scared the shit out of me. And it wasn't because she was mean or aggressive, it was just truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the fear of what truth is gonna come up today.
Yeah.
You know, but I kept going back, so I must have been ready to hear it. But your dad was my safe place in circle. When I would start to get too anxious and too antsy or a little frightened, I could look at your dad. And even if he was out, for some reason, he always gave me peace and comfort. Made me feel very safe. So, but yeah, 2 years ago, I decided that my heart was no longer in teaching. And I was actually thinking about that today. And it wasn't so much that I didn't love to teach. I do love to teach. But I didn't feel like that's where I needed to be anymore. I felt like I needed to just start helping people in a different way, on a deeper level. So I started doing energy work full time, and we're here at Journey's Holistic Health and Wellness Center in York, PA. This is my healing room right here.
Now, in the classes and circles with Katie and Alan, was Heidi in those classes with you as well?
I came to circle with Heidi. It still took me a while, even being in circle, it took me a while to actually take a class with Katie and Alan. And unfortunately, I was never a physical student of Alan's. He died 7 days before my first class was scheduled with him. So.
And you were with him.
Yes. Heidi called and said that he had had a stroke, and Katie wanted some people to work on him at the hospital, and asked if I would drive her because she was pretty upset. So I did. And we went in, and I was honored that I was asked to do energy work on him. We hung out for a while, and then we left. We said our goodbyes, and we get down to the lobby, and Heidi gets a text from Lloyd that said, "Alan's leaving." And she and I were like, well, we knew they were going to take him for some more tests, but why would we get a text that he's leaving? That's weird. So we go back upstairs, and Alan was leaving. Wasn't going for tests, he was leaving. And as I turned to leave the room, Katie yelled at me to stay. So I stood very quietly and prayed to disappear into the wall, just because I couldn't understand why I was there at such a horrific yet beautiful moment with these people that I barely knew. Little did I know, I was pretty powerful then, because Jen doesn't even remember me being there.
She was completely invisible.
So, I'd say within 48 hours, Alan came to me, and he's been teaching me ever since. In the beginning, it was funny because he came to me as Alan, and then gradually shifted into Sethius, the Ascended Master of Light Weaving. And depending on who I'm with, if I'm working on you, or I'm working on Katie, or Lloyd or Leslie, he'll come through as Alan. But 9 times out of 10, he works with me strictly as Sethius now.
Yeah, he still comes through as 2 different, his different, forms, I guess. A lot of times now it's Sethius, but still, like at the retreat this weekend, he totally came through as Dad, light weaving, but as my dad, which was cool. So, okay, 2 years ago, you quit your job to do your energy work full time.
Yes, 2 years ago I quit my teaching job of 24 years, which I know there are plenty of people out there think I'm absolutely insane because I could have gone to 25 and retirement and blah, 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 and all that stuff, but I just couldn't stay any longer where I wasn't appreciated. How about that? Because administration and education right now is terrible. It's terrible. Education is not about the children anymore. It's all about numbers and data, and they really don't care what's best for kids. And it's been like that for a long time. It's nothing new. And I felt beat down and battered, and it was the work that I've done on myself and being able to help others that got me through my last 2 years. But I had declared that in 2014, I declared I had 2 more years, and then I was going to be done. And I did it. And I worked at a Main Street station in Stewartstown for almost a year, and then I moved over here to Journey's Holistic Health and Wellness Center in York. And I love it here.
It's a great place.
I work with some great people. Stacy and Sally and Dr. Dave. It's a cool group.
It is a cool group.
Yeah.
What is Powered by Your Soul?
Powered by Your Soul. Powered by Your Soul is the name of my company. When I was in the 2-year energy course with Heidi, it was during our 2nd year that she started, I really started talking about doing this full time. And so we started thinking about company names and things like that. And again, it's when Katie Anna was talking a lot about soul-guided lives. And, we had to think about what it was we wanted our business to do and the message we wanted to send. Mm-hmm. And the big message that I wanted to send was I want to help people get to the point where their lives are powered by their soul, not powered by greed, not powered by fear, not powered by power, but powered by your soul. So it's my way of saying soul-guided life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm sure anybody who's seen you around will say that they have seen you in your swirly heart shirt. What's that all about?
Swirly heart. Another thing, when we were talking about the business, Heidi was like, what message do you want to send? What if you had to sum it up in a brief few words, what's the message you want to send to the world? And it was, share your love. Open your heart and share your love, because that's the only thing that's going to shift the energy on this planet is love.
Amen.
So that's what my swirly heart's all about. Sharing it, getting it out there.
Awesome. Do you have any other colors?
I have all my shirts and all the chakra colors. and it's funny. I was at my sister's a couple weeks ago, and I have a quote from Tammy on the back of my shirts right now. And it's been there for about 1.5 years. And my dad's wife, Gail, looks at me and she says, can you explain that quote to me? And the quote is, don't put your issues on me. Tammy and I were in the middle of a fight. I was going at it, she was going at it, and she stopped and she was listening to me, and she had been doing some work with Katie Anna as well. And she goes, wait, don't put your issues on me. And it shut me down because she was completely right. It was everything that I was feeling, and I was projecting it onto her. So the message that I want to send with that is 9 times out of 10, when you come across somebody and they're being crappy to you, it's not about you, it's about them. It's their issues. So sweetly, kindly, as nice as you can, look at them and say, look, don't put your issues on me. This is your thing. So I explained that to Gail, and then we sit and we continue to have some conversation, and all of a sudden politics comes up. And my 13-year-old daughter looks at me and goes, oh no. And something sparked a reaction from my brother-in-law. And it was all very respectful. But he was stating his position and his point and blah, 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 blah. And I looked at Gail and I said, perfect example of you said something that triggered him. And now he's putting his issues on you. And they all were like, wow.
Oh.
Okay. But it was cool because we got to have that conversation, and at the end of the night, everybody we were all still friends, we were all still family, we were hugging and laughing, but that kind of dialogue needs to happen more out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, and it's just a respect to hear one another's position. Because I even said, you know, my brother and sisters and I grew up in the same house, but we all have a different outlook on what our family life was like, what our childhood was like. And it was really funny after Mom died and we all got together and started talking about things and spent more time together, to hear their views of what growing up was like. Yeah, because everybody comes from a different place. And it was just neat. It was cool. And it was very cool that we could have that passionate conversation in their house, at that table, and still leave there loving each other. So it was exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we're here at Journeys, where you work. What classes or events do you have coming up that people might be interested in attending?
Well, let's see. We have the first Saturday of every month, we have an energy healing share. It goes from 10 to 1, and it's open to anyone. And I specifically call it an energy share because I want people of all different modalities to be able to come and share their gifts, and it's an opportunity for practitioners to practice and learn, and it's an opportunity for the public to come in and experience some energy work if you haven't had any. It's donation based. You get about a 15 to 20 minute session, so it gives you a little taste of what energy work is if you're not familiar with it and it's something that you want to try. But it's the first Saturday of every month from 10 to 1, and our next one is October 6th. So
those are awesome.
Yes.
Everybody should come to at least one of those.
And you'll find it on the Journeys Facebook page, Powered by Your Soul Facebook page, or my personal page as well. What else do we have coming? We have a Seraphim Blueprint Level 1 class coming. Those of you that have watched the show and watched Will
I'm like
and Mary, the two of them are going to be joining me here at Journeys on October 13th from 10 to 6 for the Level 1 class. And information again is on the Journeys page as well as the Powered by Your Soul and my personal page.
And they were at the retreat at Bon Secours this weekend, and we got a little taste of that, and it's
amazing.
I don't even have words for how cool that's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool. We also have, Lloyd and I are still teaching classes together. Now our location is shifting because he and Leslie now have their, in case y'all haven't heard, have their crystal shop in Gettysburg, and that opening is planned for October. I believe the angelic light weaving class is still going to be here.
I think that, the September classes.
Yeah, the September classes are still here, which is angelic light weaving on September 15th from 10 to 1. And then I have a Reiki Level 1 class on September 16th from 11 to 3.
Morgan and Carolyn love the shares.
That's where we met Morgan. Morgan
Yes.
was watching my show when I was on Resilient Readers, and she came down for a share. That's where we met Morgan.
And she's not right around the corner. I think she's like an hour away.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
And she's amazing. And then what else? The Accidental Alignment class in October has been moved to the Gettysburg location. You can find that information on Facebook as well. And this has not made it to Facebook yet, so here it is. Hot release. You're hearing it first.
Heard it here first.
Right here on Journeys with Judy. Katie Anna Clark. We'll be doing a Heart Mind Circle here on October 14th from 10 to 1. So information about that will be posted probably not tonight, but sometime tomorrow. So if you're interested, look at the contact numbers on the event pages and reserve your space, because there's some good stuff going on.
If you haven't been to a Katie Circle, get yourself to a Katie Circle. That means you need to get to a Katie Circle.
She's not as scary as she used to be, I promise.
Yeah, we still go.
Exactly.
So many circles.
But I think that's it as far as upcoming events for September and October.
We have a Reiki 1, September 16th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we have a Reiki. Yep. Reiki level 1.
What does the future hold for Judy Forder?
That's an outstanding question. I am in the process.
Katie says, back by popular demand, come join us in the circle of love. And Morgan said, oh my, OMG, I'm coming.
Yes.
She's in.
You have to.
Yes, Morgan, you'll love Circle.
Yes, she will. What's next for Judy? Judy is going to continue to generate events here at Journeys. I'm going to start spending, unless I have clients on the road, which I still have a few left. I will be found here at Journeys between the hours of 10 and 2 every day, except for Saturdays and Sundays. So if you're in the neighborhood and you want to pop by and grab a quick session, I'll be here. I think I am ready to root my energy here at Journeys and start to help be a part of and generate a beautiful center, offering everything that we possibly can to our
Can you talk a little
public.
bit about what a full session with Judy entails? I mean, obviously, you don't know exactly.
No, no. I'm a Reiki master. I'm an angelic light weaving master, Accitonal alignment master. You know, all those master things don't mean anything. My foundation is in Reiki, but once you get on my table, it's whatever I'm guided to do. I allow Spirit to use me as a hollow bone to do whatever is for your greatest and highest good. So to tell you that I know exactly what's going to happen every time you get on my table, I can't. To tell you every session of yours will be identical one after the other, it won't be. No two sessions are ever the same because it's about what you need. So you come in for an hour and see what happens.
Stacy says, sign me up for a session. Sally found us.
Hi, Sally!
Clint is watching.
Hi, Clint.
What's the best advice you've been giving as you continue to grow and evolve?
The best advice I have been given is stay open to love.
Wherever did you hear that?
Gee, I don't know. At our retreat this weekend, at every retreat I've worked and attended, Katie Anna's message is our only directive is to stay open to love, and that has opened my world, you know. And initially when I heard that, stay open to love from other people, stay open to giving love to other people. Well, no, you have to start with staying open to love yourself. And the best advice that I have been given is once you can love yourself unconditionally, then you are free to share that love with everyone. So even though I'm considered an energy practitioner, energy healer, I don't heal people. I ignite the light within them so they can heal themselves. And I give them tools along the way so that they can do that. Because that's what's been done for me. People have given me tools. Heidi gave me tools. Katie gives me tools. Every client I work on, I learn something. So, you know, practitioners aren't perfectly healed and everything's great. We're still evolving. We're still growing. We're still healing as well. And we heal together. So, we never stop.
You made Katie cry.
Oh, it's all about self-love.
Do you have any parting words of wisdom for our viewers?
Parting words of wisdom. Don't give up.
Stay open to love.
Stay open to love. Don't give up. I mean, it's hard. This work is hard. If it wasn't, everybody would do it. You have to, if you truly want to heal, you have to go to those dark places that you've avoided. At least I avoided for years. With alcohol or with TV or with just absorbing myself and other people's lives, trying to fix everybody else so that I could avoid fixing myself. There are places that you have to go and things that you have to deal with. And, You know, one of the things was I had a lot of pain from my dad leaving, and I was so angry at him, and I worked long and hard to forgive him. And the funniest thing that I realized through my forgiving him was how much he loved me, because of the things that he allowed me to say to him. The truth that he allowed me to speak, the anger that he allowed me to direct toward him, the things that I've said to him back then, I could never dream saying to him. But coming to that realization that he was open and he heard me and he listened and he just let me do it. He held space for me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no greater love than that. And that was huge for me. It was huge for me to come to that realization, because the fact that he did the very best he could with what he had is so true. And I couldn't be happier for him. He's had a life where he's been able to travel and do things that he never thought he'd be able to do. And he's happy. And if he's happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So don't give up. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Because it may suck while you're going through it, but it's absolutely and completely worth it once you get to the other side.
That ends my questions.
The questions that I had to write, I should have just sat here and interviewed myself.
I tried to contribute a little bit.
You
I read them out loud.
You did a little ad libs. What?
The screen was black for a second.
Oh, well, it left then, I guess. Does anybody have any questions?
No questions.
No.
Just love. Katie, make Katie cry. Stay open to love. No questions, just love.
All right. Well, you know.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in and joining us on this special edition.
Get to know Judy of Journeys with Judy.
Journeys with Judy. All of our new viewers out there, thank you so much for your support. And it's really cool when I see you guys at shows and you're like, hey, I've seen you on Facebook. So it's nice.
Elizabeth wants to know, do you do distance Reiki?
I absolutely do. Distance sessions. If you're interested in anything, message me on Facebook or all my contact information. You could text me at 443-528-4439 or call, or email me at judyforder@comcast.net. I would be honored to work on anyone. It's such an honor to do this work. And you know, there's nothing special about us. All it is we open up and allow our bodies and our souls to be used. And everybody can do it. You know, along with Katie Anna, I believe everyone should be attuned to at least Reiki 1. So we're going to have some things coming up soon to help encourage that to happen. But we're not ready to release that information yet. So keep an eye out. Jen and I are on a mission to get everybody at least Reiki 1 and 2.
That's our mission, is to get
everyone
everyone attuned to Reiki 1.
We're on a mission because it's definitely, I call it the gateway drug.
Yes.
It was the gateway drug. And it doesn't mean that you're going to become an energy practitioner, people. My whole family was like, well, I don't want to do that work. You don't have to do that work. Reiki 1's all about you, self-healing for you, and learning about energy. And we teach about chakras, Katie Anna. And we teach you about chakras and just about energy flow and how... Are we done?
No, we're back.
Are we back? Okay. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yes.
But
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And thanks again for joining us for Journeys with Judy. Don't forget to be awesome. Have a great night.